Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Erica and I am a homeschooling mom to 6 kids ranging from 13 all the way down to 1-year-old twins. Today I want to talk to you about the number one thing that has changed my homeschool life. That feels very dramatic, and it might be, but today I'm going to talk to you about what I call school sprints. Now, a lot of YouTube will tell you that you need to take schooling slowly and at the child's pace and let them drink. There's some kind of metaphor where don't give them all the water, don't drown them with the water of information. Let them sip on it. Things of that nature. But that doesn't work for every family and every child. You might simply just not have the time to devote hours and hours and hours every day to school. You might not have the season of life where you can sit down that often and discuss the same topic over and over. But that doesn't work for me because that is just not my personality. I can't spend long hours all the time, constantly. That's where I get burnt out, and that's where I get bored. And my kids are kind of the same. Now, it is a lot of information, and the school sprint applies a lot to my younger two students, my 3rd grader and my 4th grader, but I've seen how my 8th grader now applies this to her own studies, which is kind of cool, and it's the way that she's learning and studying, and that fits her personality well too. So it's kind of cool that I have taught her how to study in this manner. Okay, so what is a school sprint? A school sprint is where you get a lot of school done we do a 1-hour chunks. So in our family, we do 2 1-hour chunks. And that means that mom has 2 1-hour chunks. The kids are a little bit different, but this is how it works for us. So I'm just going to kind of tell you how we work these and then kind of the rules that go along with this at the end. And I'm looking down because I can get long-winded, very blah, 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 if I don't have notes. I already tried to video this once and it didn't work. So, number one, the first school sprint of our day happens right after we watch World Watch News. So my kids get up, they eat breakfast, they do all their things to get ready for the school, get dressed, brush their teeth, yada yada. While they're sitting down to breakfast, as soon as the last kid gets there, I put on World Watch News, and they know as soon as that ends, we are starting our school sprint. We are starting our day, and we are going to get as much done in 1 hour as we possibly can. Now, this 1 hour is before my babies, my twin 1-year-olds, ever wake up. My 3-year-old typically is up with us, but she's easily distracted in the morning because she's not quite to the level that her 3-year-old self can be yet. So, and she's not quite bored of everything in the day. So giving her breakfast and puzzles and coloring pages and all that is very exciting for the first hour of the day. And that's how I keep her entertained during the school sprint. And then obviously the babies are asleep, so they are not bothering us either. Now, if by chance, because it has happened, the babies wake up during this 1-hour sprint, or they had a really rough night and they were just up in the morning, there are 2 things that I do. 1, I'll push that day's work to the next day and make it up on that Friday flex day that I've talked about before. Or 2, I put them in their high chair with something on the TV. I know, they're not 2. Shoot me now. But I put something on the TV for them. Or I put music on. Or whatever. And they sit in their high chair and they eat their breakfast or whatnot. And again, this is in the morning, so easily distracted. Everything's still new. It's not a big deal for them. And during this first sprint, we do our Bible time and our individual subjects. Our Bible time doesn't really take that long. If we get into really good discussion, it can take 30 minutes or so, but typically maybe 15. Maybe. And then after that, we go straight into independent subjects where mom is needed. So how this works is they come to me with their independent subjects. I take one kid at a time. So usually I start with my youngest kid first. So my third grader will come to me and I'll do a subject with her and then send her on her way. And then I bring in my fourth grader and I do whatever I need to do with her and then send her on her way and bring back my third grader, do her next subject, and like we keep going back and forth. My eighth grader is pretty independent these days. Every once in a while she'll need me, but she's pretty independent because we try to make them as independent as possible as early as possible. That does not mean that they cannot ask questions or I'm not available to teach when they struggle on a concept, but we try to find curriculums that will build that independence and will build that good study habits early. So, for example, my fourth grader's math is almost completely independent. My fourth grader's English is probably half independent. So really, my third grader is the most that I do. Now, I don't have any well, that's not true. My 3-year-old is really loving preschool, and I do it with her, but she only can last about 10 minutes. So, there's that. So sometimes I give her the 10 minutes in the morning in my school sprint. And I don't have any really young ones where it would take a ton of time. And if it did, I would just add a little bit of time to this school sprint or possibly add a school sprint to Friday. Now, these kids have come one at a time, which has been nice. And so by the time one comes into schooling, the other one is pretty independent. We also try to group them in as many things as possible, as early as possible, so that is a non-factor as well. So if I'm working with one, I'm also working with another. Our second school sprint happens at nap time. My children know that as soon as that last baby goes down, they need to be ready for school. Because when I come down, we are either working on our science or our history. And then we spend about 30 minutes doing a lot of whatever we're on in that subject. And then from there, I am grading their independent work that they got done somewhere between the first school sprint and the second school sprint. They should be completely done. If there was a hard concept, then that's the time that we'll also go over that concept. Or if they didn't understand something or just got a lot of wrong or whatever the case is, that is the sprint that I work on those things with. But typically, I just have to grade it and give it to them. Maybe we work on a few things that they were missing, and I'm done. I'm done for the day. I will say, my 8th grader is taking a lot of 9th grade credits. And so she is not in the school sprints with us like that, but she kind of stays within it for the most part too. She might work a little bit longer because she has more subjects and they're more intense. But for the most part, she stays with those schedules too. On Friday, I do give her, I don't call it a school sprint, but I do give her a lot of individual time on Friday where we have our mom meeting. And that's where she gives me all of her work and I make sure some of it's online and is graded for me. Hallelujah. And the stuff that is not, that's when I grade it, or that's when I go over it with her, or if she has any projects coming up or tests, we go over some things to make sure that she's on track and understanding the material. So she's not really in those school sprints, and I kind of give her her own school sprint on Friday. But I don't know if you'd call it that. Now, my rules for school sprints. This is like class time. Imagine you went to school and it's like, okay, it is science class. You don't get to get up and get water and a snack and go to the bathroom and blah, blah, blah. No. Should have done that before this 1 hour. Mom gets 2 hours all day with you, like individually. Obviously, I'm with them all day. But you get 2 hours where you have to sit down and you do this. No exceptions. And that might sound really harsh to some people, moms, but there are other moms that are going to understand this. Your kid just like anytime you need to get something done, they're like, oh, but I have to go potty. oh, but I need water. No, you don't. It's like when they go to bed and they just like, my feet hurt, my hair hurts, my back. But school sprints are not for that. School sprints are not for snacks and water and bathroom breaks. We don't have snacks, or we do have water, but we don't have snacks on the table at all. You are focused. You're giving your full attention to mom because your mom is giving full attention to you. Now, if you paid attention, they are not doing the school sprint for the full hour. Mom is, but they are not. For the most part, they have where they do like the Bible for 20 minutes. And then, for example, my third grader will do a 20 minutes after that, and she'll pretty much be done. And then I work on my independent work with my fourth grader for 20 minutes, and she'll be done. So really, they're only getting about 40 minutes in that 1 hour span. I'm just the only one that gets that 1 hour. So that is a school sprint. I hope I articulated it well, because it seriously has been a game changer in our homeschool life. To get a lot of information and a lot of school done in little spurts, but a solid spurt. I'm going to try and do individual videos on how I do my school sprints with individual subjects. For example, we use Apologia Astronomy. And I can tell you exactly what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it on those school sprints to help you and decide if school sprinting is right for you. I hope that helped you. I hope it helps someone, even if it's just one person, because it has been so game changer idea for me. And to kick the mentality that everything has to be super slow and against our personality as a family, like it just makes more sense for us, especially in this season. Anyways, sorry for that wafty little ending. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this helped you, and have a good one, guys. Bye.